The definition of evil. I'm 45 years old. From the time I became politically aware, at the age of 16 until just a few months ago, I identified as right-wing. Over the last year I've experienced multiple traumas, not the least of which is an ever-present fear of homelessness due to a 30% rent increase and no new rentals in sight. This has caused an existential crisis and a re-evaluation of many things I knew. As I look at the motives of people on the left and the right, what I see is this. The motive behind the policies of the left, many of which I still don't agree with, seems to boil down to the desire to help other people. The motive behind the policies of the right boils down to helping oneself. Further, if in helping oneself you get to hurt others, that's even better. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. I never thought at 45 years old I'd be reading Marx and thinking, I kind of agree with that. The ranks of the proletariat grow every day. Maybe it's not such a bad thing in the long run. Muhammad Ali once said, a man who thinks the same at 50 as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years. As a former Republican, I totally understand what he was saying. So with this quote in mind, it sounds like you have not wasted the last 30 years either. I always think people who are conservative are lucky people that haven't had anything bad happen to them. It's all, I don't want to give my hard-earned money to lazy people, until something happens and they actually need help from the government. Then they realize people aren't lazy. They just need help sometimes. Public services cost money and that's what taxes are for. My parents were teachers and unionized, so I grew up believing in bigger government and the need for everyone to contribute. You never know when you'll need a food bank, or unemployment, or just a library. We all want good teachers and safe schools. We'd really like universal healthcare and safe retirement plans. Imagine if Elon Musk or Amazon actually paid a fair share of taxes instead of taking advantage of all the loopholes politicians put in place to help their friends stay rich. Politics is absolutely situational, and if you are fortunate enough to never have anything go wrong in your life, you can afford to be selfish. That's why we need government. We've proven over and over that we don't choose to help people who need it. We have to be forced by rules and laws. It's incredibly sad to me. I hope your situation improves soon. Our politicians are too old and rich to understand what it's like for normal people, so I don't see help coming soon. We're reaching critical mass on this. Something has to give. I was almost exactly your age when I woke up from being a right-winger as well. Voted GOP all the way down the ticket since G.H.W. Bush in '92. Trump winning the nom in 2016 did it for me. Now a die-hard socialist. And proud of it. When I was younger I identified as a Republican and voted as such. Mainly due to family and where I lived. As I got older and my education and life experience progressed, I changed. Don't be alarmed that you find yourself agreeing with some Marxist stuff. Making people afraid to care about other people is a scare tactic of the right. It's sad and I'm ashamed I used to think like that. I don't consider myself left tbh, but my ideals definitely lean that way. There's stuff I don't like about the left, but not nearly as much as I am repulsed by the actions and beliefs of the right. And I don't believe that one side can fix every problem. Each issue we all face has many factors and can be helped by a multitude of avenues. Black and white, left and right. It can be dangerous to draw such staunch lines. I hope you don't end up homeless and that things start looking up for you, my friend. Thank you for caring about people. It's been a rough time for me too, and I've made it by through the grace of luck and the love of those around me. I hope that good fortune and better days find you as well. Edit. Thanks for the award, kind stranger. A conservative says, if it hasn't happened to me, I don't care. A liberal says, "This should never happen to anyone. And that's why I care." Anon. The Republicans have a big, "what's in it for me" mentality. I'm in New Jersey, and when Hurricane Sandy wiped out part of the shore, our then Republican governor went to the feds for aid. A Republican from the Midwest went on a tirade claiming we were looking for handouts. We should pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Blah blah blah. Not 3 weeks later, that dude's state got hit by a bunch of tornadoes. And what did he do? Go to the feds looking for money. And he gave this big, sappy speech about coming together and helping those in need. It was infuriating. Really. I'm surprised it took you this long to see the pattern. It's not like they hide it. While I wish you well, I do feel the need to point to this as further evidence that right wing is a lack of empathy. You switched teams because things got bad for you. You need to reevaluate your entire political history as to how you came to your conclusions that the right represents anything positive. Not why they're wrong. Why you thought they were right. Because when you reach conclusions through bad reasoning, you're just as likely to switch in the future as stay on board. I think hearing the stories of how people are bankrupted by getting sick or trying to pay tuition are pushing people left. I don't know what Biden's waiting for. Cancel student debt and end healthcare costs for everyone now. You've discovered empathy brain. That's absolutely huge. Congrats. Ding ding ding. Winner winner chicken dinner. In all seriousness, I self-identified as a socially liberal, fiscal conservative, libertarian for about a decade. Came to the same realization and started to deprogram myself. Now I tell people that, for the foreseeable future, I'm caucusing with the Democrats because I'd rather help someone that needs it, rather than step on their fingers as they try to pull up. Stay woke. Edit. Time. Welcome comrade. JK. But seriously, I wish politics were disagreeing over how to help people, and not the shit show it currently is. It's always hilarious right-wingers only begin to care after it happens to them personally. It's like they have an empathy problem. Left-wing people don't necessarily want to help other people. They believe that government should be on the side of the citizens rather than the aristocracy, the rich and powerful. The right want to preserve and extend the power of the aristocracy. There are people that are poor that vote for the left because it's in their own self-interest, rather than it being the right thing to do. There are people that are rich that vote for left because it's the right thing to do and they're not so selfish that they'd be put themselves above an entire country. There are people that are rich that vote for the right. This is disappointing but understandable. There are people that are poor that vote for the right because they've been convinced by the rich that they should vote against their own interests. Sadly, this can be from birth, and can come from older family members that have also been duped by the same lies. The analysis of both parties is factually incorrect, and you're conflating economic impact from policies created on both sides of the aisle. Since you claim you're 45, you need to read this. https://wtfhappeneden1971.com. So the fact you're at risk and have struggles is what makes you shift your position. Not watching others struggling desperately for the other decades of your life? Kind of sums up the left caring about others and the right itself point quite nicely, I suppose. There are no policies in the US that are left. What you're thinking of as left is actually moderate right-wing versus fascist right-wing. The right. Same man. I started to see the light a few years ago. I want better for myself and for others. If you're making less than $500,000 per annum and voting Republican, you're not paying attention to Republican policies. More curious than anything. What leftist ideals do you disagree with? I don't consider myself liberal, I consider myself progressive and relatively radical. I don't want to fight or anything though. I really am just genuinely curious about how the right think. I've never been able to have a conversation without being called a commie lol. So, the only thing that turned you away from the anti-LGBT, anti-worker, anti-woman, anti-minority group was you experiencing it for yourself? Man, the joke about Republicans not caring until it happens to them is spot on. Edit. And, as another commenter below has pointed out, UP hasn't exactly changed their stances on race, being anti-mask, or LGBT people.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.